Everyone knows that in the vast expanse of space, what really matters is brute power. Advanced technology, superior weapons, and overwhelming psychic abilities. These are the tools that dominate the cosmos. At least, that's what the aliens thought. But they were about to learn a lesson that would shake the foundations of their empire. Sometimes the most dangerous weapon isn't the most obvious one. When the alien armada first appeared in our solar system, they brought with them technology that made our most advanced achievements seem like child's play. Their psychic abilities could shatter minds from light years away. Their warships were capable of reshaping reality itself. According to all conventional logic, Earth should have fallen within hours. But that logic didn't take into account one crucial detail. Humans are incredibly stubborn. What followed was not just a war, it was a revolution in what we believed was possible. While the aliens relied on their advanced technology and extraordinary psychic powers, humans discovered something far more terrifying: the unexplored potential of the focused human mind. Without implants, without cybernetic augmentations, just pure and relentless human determination, combined with an adaptability that left all advanced species in the galaxy terrified. Do you want to know how a single Earthship called Star Hope turned the tide in an impossible war? How Captain Elias Darnell and his crew discovered that human consciousness was the deadliest weapon in the universe? And why, to this day, advanced alien civilizations keep their distance from human ships in space? Buckle up. This is not just another war story. This is the tale of how humanity's greatest weakness became its most feared strength, and how the galaxy learned to fear what happens when humans decide to take control. In the vast silence of space, where the stars twinkled like silent witnesses to the greatest human adventure ever recorded, the Star Hope sliced through the void with unwavering determination. It was more than a mere mission of survival. It was a definitive testament to human adaptation in the face of the impossible. Captain Elias Darnell, with his experienced eyes fixed on the infinite possibilities of the cosmos, knew that every second aboard that ship was a battle for the supremacy of the human mind. The aliens might have their advanced technologies and extraordinary psychic powers, but they gravely underestimated the capacity for human neuroplasticity. Earth, in its ancient wisdom, had bet everything on a single card: the incredible mental resilience of its species. It was a bold gamble, but it was also the only option left to confront the cosmic threat that was inexorably approaching our home planet. The lights on the command bridge pulsed softly, creating dancing shadows that echoed the ancient campfires where our ancestors told tales of great battles and triumphs. The crew of the Star Hope carried with them not only hopes, but also the weight of human evolution on their shoulders. Each member had been chosen not for their physical strength or technical prowess, but for their extraordinary capacity for focus and psychological adaptation. The intensive cognitive training they had undergone prepared them to face the unimaginable. Mindfulness techniques, developed over millennia of human history, now served as a shield against the psychic intrusions of the aliens. It was fascinating how ancient practices of meditation had transformed into the most advanced form of defense against intergalactic threats. The soft hum of the life support systems created a comforting symphony, reminding everyone that even in the vacuum of space, humanity could create its own survival environment. The adaptive intelligence of the human species had always been its greatest ally, enabling it to thrive in the most hostile environments on Earth. Now, that very capacity was being tested on a cosmic scale. The aliens, with all their technological might, could not comprehend how such a young species could demonstrate such mental resilience. They did not understand that every challenge humanity had faced throughout its history had forged an unbreakable inner strength. The mental flow achieved by humans in extreme stress situations was something unique in the known universe. The holographic screens displayed a hypnotic dance of data and information, but it was the crew's ability to concentrate that truly impressed. While alien civilizations relied on neural implants and technological enhancements to process information, humans entrusted their natural ability to focus. The defense strategies developed by Earth might have seemed primitive by galactic standards, but there was a singular elegance in their simplicity. Applied psychology had become a weapon as powerful as any plasma cannon or force field. The aliens, in their arrogance, had never imagined that the greatest threat to their supremacy would come not from advanced weaponry, but from the extraordinary human capacity for psychological adaptation. In the command center, Darnell observed his officers with a mix of pride and concern. Each of them represented the pinnacle of human evolution in terms of mental resilience and focus. The psychic intrusions from the aliens, which had devastated other civilizations, found a surprisingly resilient barrier in human minds. The special cognitive training developed on Earth had transformed every crew member into a mental fortress. It was impressive how mindfulness techniques, refined over generations, now served as the first line of defense against extraterrestrial psychic attacks. The human ability to maintain focus even under extreme pressure was a skill that alien races had yet to comprehend or replicate. The stars seemed to twinkle in approval as the Star Hope navigated through unknown energy fields. The crew had learned to trust their natural neuroplasticity to adapt quickly to new situations. It was a delicate dance between alien technology and human mental resilience, where every misstep could mean the end. The intergalactic challenge they faced was not just a matter of survival, but an opportunity to prove that humanity deserved its place among the stars. The defense strategies developed on board were a testament to human creativity, combining ancient concentration techniques with the latest discoveries about brain function. The corridors of the ship echoed with the gentle hum of life support systems, creating an environment conducive to maintaining the mental flow necessary to resist the psychic onslaughts of the enemy. It was fascinating how the crew had learned to use the aliens' attempts at mental invasion as catalysts to strengthen their psychological defenses. Human adaptation to extreme situations had always been a hallmark of the species, but now this capability was being elevated to unprecedented levels. Intensive cognitive training had transformed each crew member into a bastion of mental resilience, capable of maintaining focus even under the most intense psychic pressures. The red alert lights occasionally flashed, signaling yet another attempt at a psychic invasion by the aliens. But the crew of the Star Hope remained unshaken, their minds operating in perfect synchronization thanks to the mindfulness techniques honed during months of preparation. Applied psychology had become as crucial as the ship's weapon systems. It was a silent battle fought on the field of consciousness, where the supremacy of the human mind was being tested against forces many considered invincible. Humanity's capacity for psychological adaptation, cultivated over millennia of evolution, was about to face its greatest challenge. The aliens continued to underestimate the power of human mental resilience, treating it as an evolutionary curiosity without real strategic importance. Yet, each failed attempt to breach the psychic defenses of the crew only reinforced Darnell's conviction that humanity had chosen the right path. The cognitive training and concentration techniques that seemed so basic by alien standards were proving to be more effective than any advanced technology. The true strength of the Star Hope lay not in its engines or armaments, but in the incredible ability of its crew to maintain focus and mental clarity, even in the face of the impossible. The distant stars seemed to shine more brightly now, as if the universe itself was observing with renewed interest this demonstration of human determination. The neuroplasticity of the human brain, combined with advanced mindfulness techniques, had created a natural defense against the psychic interferences of the aliens. It was a living testament that human evolution had not ended. It was just beginning. The survival strategies developed aboard the Star Hope were redefining the limits of possibility, showing that true strength lies not in technology, but in the capacity for adaptation and mental resilience. The intergalactic challenge they faced was only the first step on a much larger journey. In the main conference room of the Star Hope, the air was thick with anticipation as Captain Elias Darnell prepared to unveil the true potential of the human brain. The metallic walls reflected the soft glow of holographic screens displaying complex neural diagrams resembling star maps of an uncharted inner universe. Applied psychology had evolved significantly since the early days of space exploration, but what Darnell was about to share surpassed anything ever seen before. Human neuroplasticity, this unique trait that allowed the brain to constantly reshape itself, was more than just a scientific curiosity. It was the key to the species' survival. The cognitive training the crew was about to embark on would leverage this adaptability in ways the aliens could never anticipate. With precise gestures, Darnell manipulated the holographic images, revealing intricate patterns of brain activity during states of intense concentration. The mindfulness techniques he had developed were not merely mental exercises, they were strategic survival tools. Every neural movement, every strengthened synapse, represented a small victory in the battle for the supremacy of the human mind. Mental resilience was not just a desirable trait, it was an evolutionary necessity that had prepared humanity for this crucial moment. The mental flow that humans could achieve was like a cosmic dance of neurons, a symphony of consciousness that the aliens, with all their advanced technology, had never been able to replicate. The crew's eyes sparkled with growing understanding as Darnell explained how alien psychic interferences worked and, more importantly, how they could be overcome. Human adaptability to new challenges had always been extraordinary, but now that capability was being elevated to a cosmic level. The mental defense strategies they were developing did not rely on external devices or technological enhancements. They were purely organic, based on the incredible plasticity of the human brain. The intensive cognitive training to follow would transform each crew member into an impenetrable mental fortress, capable of resisting the most powerful psychic assaults from the enemy. The holographic projections shifted to show simulations of alien psychic attacks, waves of mental energy that had devastated entire civilizations. But where others had failed, humanity found strength in its own natural evolution. The adaptive intelligence of the human brain allowed it to forge new neural connections in response to every new threat, turning each attack into an opportunity for learning and strengthening. The intense focus that humans could maintain, even under extreme pressure, was a skill the aliens could not comprehend or neutralize. It was as if millions of years of evolution had uniquely prepared the human species for this intergalactic challenge. Darnell's voice carried a blend of urgency and hope as he detailed the next phases of training. Applied psychology would be their most powerful weapon, enabling each crew member to access mental states previously deemed impossible. The mindfulness techniques that had been refined over generations would now serve as the foundation for a new form of psychic resistance. The neuroplasticity of the human brain would be pushed to its limits, creating neural patterns so complex and adaptable that no alien force could penetrate. It was an ambitious plan, but humanity had always thrived when facing seemingly insurmountable challenges. The holographic diagrams now showed how mental flow could be maintained even during the most intense space battles. The human capacity for concentration, when properly trained, was like an impenetrable shield against the psychic interferences of the enemy. Mental resilience was not just a matter of endurance, but of continuous adaptation and conscious evolution. The cognitive training that Darnell had developed incorporated elements of ancient meditative practices with the latest discoveries about brain function. It was a perfect synthesis of ancestral wisdom and modern science, created specifically to confront the cosmic threat that was approaching. As the presentation continued, it became increasingly clear that humanity's true strength had always been its capacity for psychological adaptation. The defense strategies they were developing were not merely reactive, they were proactive, allowing the human mind not only to withstand alien attacks, but also to counterattack with its own natural psychic strength. Humanity's supremacy would not come through superior technology or brute force, but through the extraordinary ability to focus and adapt that characterized the species. Each new discovery about the brain's potential opened up new possibilities for resistance and evolution. The sparkle in the crew's eyes was a silent testament to the transformative power of knowledge. The adaptive intelligence that had allowed humanity to survive on its home planet would now be its salvation among the stars. The mindfulness techniques and cognitive training that Darnell presented were not just theories. They were practical tools for survival in space. The human brain's neuroplasticity, this unique characteristic that allowed for constant adaptation, would be the key to overcoming the intergalactic challenge they faced. It was as if every synapse, every neural connection, was a small star in a galaxy of infinite possibilities. The final holograms displayed impressive simulations of the human mind at full potential. The mental resilience they were developing was not merely a defense against psychic attacks. It was an affirmation of humanity's evolutionary supremacy. The focus and concentration they could maintain, even in the most extreme situations, shone like a beacon of hope in the vast ocean of space. The defense strategies that Darnell had developed promised not only the survival of the species, but its ascension to a new level of existence. It was a future where human adaptation and alien technology would meet in an unexpected battlefield. The mind. The first psychic attack struck the Starlight Hope like a silent wave of mental chaos. The alien psychic interferences were unlike anything humanity had ever faced, a silent storm of energy attempting to destabilize the very essence of human thought. The corridors of the ship seemed to vibrate with a disturbing frequency that challenged the crew's ability to concentrate. The alien technology behind these attacks was incredibly sophisticated, designed to fragment the consciousness of any living being it encountered. But the mental resilience of humans, forged through countless evolutionary challenges, would prove to be stronger than its creators could have imagined. Captain Elias Darnell observed his monitors with focused attention, his trained mind detecting patterns in the interference waves that others might have missed. The ship's conventional defense systems were useless against this form of attack. Energy barriers and deflector shields could not block something that existed simultaneously in both the physical and mental realms. Human adaptation would be tested on a fundamental level, forcing every crew member to rely on their natural neuroplasticity to survive. The mindfulness techniques they had practiced tirelessly were now their only line of defense against the relentless psychic assault. The special cognitive training developed by Darnell was about to face its most severe test. The mental battle unfolding was invisible to the ship's sensors, but every human on board could feel its growing intensity, like a constant pressure at the edges of their consciousness. The alien psychic waves constantly shifted in frequency and intensity, seeking gaps in the crew's mental defenses. It felt like being at the center of a cosmic electric storm, where every lightning strike was a targeted attack on their ability to maintain focus. The applied psychology they had studied provided some answers, but much of what they faced was beyond any known theory. Human adaptive intelligence was being forced to evolve in real time, developing new defense strategies against each new variation of the attack. The mental flow that the crew managed to maintain, even under such pressure, was a testament to the extraordinary capacity for concentration that characterized humanity. Darnell intensified the training sessions, adapting them as new attack patterns emerged. The mindfulness techniques were refined to specifically counter the psychic interferences they faced. It was a delicate dance between adaptation and resistance, where each movement needed to be perfectly calibrated. The supremacy of the human mind was being tested not just in terms of brute strength, but in its ability to remain flexible and responsive under extreme pressure. The aliens clearly expected their psychic weapons to quickly break human resistance, but every hour that the crew maintained their defenses was proof that they had gravely underestimated the mental resilience of the species. The ship's sensors recorded increasingly strange anomalies as the psychic waves intensified. It was as if the very fabric of space-time was being distorted by the ongoing mental battle. The alien technology demonstrated a terrifying level of sophistication in its ability to attack the most basic cognitive functions. But where the aliens relied on devices and machines, humanity responded with sheer willpower and unwavering concentration. The intergalactic challenge they faced was redefining the limits of the possible, proving that human evolution had not ended. It was merely beginning a new phase. Hours turned into days, and days into weeks, as the Starlight Hope navigated through an ocean of increasingly intense psychic interferences. The psychological adaptation of the crew exceeded all expectations, with each person developing their own unique techniques for maintaining focus amid the mental chaos. The cognitive training they had received served as a foundation, but it was their innate human creativity that truly made the difference. Darnell watched with pride as his team not only endured the attacks, but began to understand and even predict their patterns. Human mental resilience was proving to be an evolutionary force in itself. The aliens seemed perplexed by the continued resistance of the human ship. Their attack strategies became increasingly desperate and unpredictable, a clear indication that they were not accustomed to encountering such a level of psychic resistance. The neuroplasticity of the human brain allowed the crew to adapt more quickly than the aliens could modify their attack patterns. It was an impressive demonstration of the supremacy of the human mind over pure technology, no matter how advanced it might be. The mental flow that humans could maintain under pressure was something that the alien machines simply could not compute or replicate. The mindfulness techniques they practiced daily had evolved into something far beyond mere concentration exercises. They had become sophisticated tools of psychic warfare, enabling each crew member not only to defend themselves but also to project their own mental strength back against the attackers. Human adaptive intelligence was creating new forms of resistance that the aliens had never encountered before. It was as if every attempt to break human concentration only served to strengthen it further, a perfect example of the extraordinary mental resilience of the species. As weeks turned into months, it became clear that the aliens had made a fatal error in their assessment of the human psyche. The defense strategies that the crew had developed were not only reactive, but also beginning to show offensive elements. Human adaptation to extreme situations had always been remarkable, but what was happening aboard the Star Hope went beyond mere survival. It was an active and conscious evolution, driven by necessity and refined through absolute focus. The initial cognitive training had provided the tools, but it was the incredible plasticity of the human brain that was transforming those tools into weapons. Darnell gathered his team for a special analysis session, sharing the latest findings on the alien attack patterns. The applied psychology they were developing was becoming a new form of science, combining elements of neuroplasticity, mindfulness techniques, and strategies for space survival. It was hard-earned knowledge, each insight gained through hours of resistance against the most powerful psychic interferences ever encountered. The mental battle was far from over, but humanity was proving that its capacity for adaptation and focus was a force that even the most advanced alien civilizations could not underestimate. The training center of the Star Hope had transformed into something that ancient Zen masters would have found both familiar and completely alien. The normally cold, impersonal metal walls now pulsed with light patterns specifically designed to challenge human concentration. Captain Elias Darnell had developed a cognitive training program that combined ancient mindfulness techniques with the most advanced understanding of human neuroplasticity. The artificial psychic interferences created for training were only a fraction of what they would face in real battle, but even so, they were enough to cause most people to lose focus entirely within seconds. Human adaptation would be pushed to its absolute limits in this unique environment, where every moment was a battle for mental supremacy. The training cycles followed a rigorous pattern, inspired by the Pomodoro technique, but elevated to a cosmic level. 25 minutes of intense concentration under constant psychic bombardment, followed by just 5 minutes of recovery. The mental resilience required to maintain focus during these periods was extraordinary, but the crew was exceeding all expectations. The mindfulness techniques they practiced were no longer simple meditation exercises. They were strategic survival tools in deep space. The mental flow they could achieve even under extreme pressure was a testament to the incredible psychological adaptability of the human species. Darnell observed each session with meticulous attention, adjusting parameters to maximize the development of his team's adaptive intelligence. The mental battle simulations became progressively more challenging as the crew demonstrated greater resistance to psychic interferences. Waves of artificial alien energy swept through the training room in increasingly complex patterns, testing the limits of human concentration. Cognitive training was not just about resisting these attacks. It required maintaining full functionality, executing complex tasks, and making critical decisions while their minds were bombarded by forces capable of shattering the consciousness of less resilient beings. The applied psychology Darnell had developed was creating a new kind of space warrior, where strength came not from muscles, but from the extraordinary focus of the human brain. Each crew member developed their own unique mental signature, a particular form of psychic resistance that reflected their personality and experiences. It was fascinating to observe how human neuroplasticity allowed for such diverse and effective adaptations. Some found strength in advanced visualization techniques, creating true mental fortresses that the aliens would have difficulty penetrating. Others developed a form of mental fluidity that allowed them to deflect psychic attacks like water flowing around stones. The intergalactic challenge they faced was inadvertently catalyzing an accelerated evolution of human mental capabilities. It was as if each training session opened new possibilities for what the human mind could achieve. The walls of the training room now displayed real-time data on each participant's performance, creating a feedback loop that allowed for instant adjustments in the mindfulness techniques employed. The alien technology they had managed to comprehend was being used not to attack, but to enhance human mental resistance. It was an irony that did not go unnoticed. The very forces that threatened to destroy humanity were inadvertently aiding in its evolution. The psychological adaptation they observed went beyond mere survival. It was a fundamental transformation in how the human brain processed and resisted external interferences. The cognitive training was creating a generation of mentally fortified humans like never before in the history of the species. The most intense sessions often left participants physically and mentally exhausted, but recovery was surprisingly swift. The mental resilience they were developing was not limited to withstanding attacks. It also extended to their ability to recover and strengthen after each challenge. It was as if each attempt to break their concentration only served to make it stronger. The defense strategies that emerged from this process were as diverse as the humans themselves, but they all shared a common characteristic. They were extraordinarily effective against the forms of psychic attack that the aliens preferred to use. The supremacy of the human mind was manifesting not through brute force, but through adaptability and constant innovation. The aliens who occasionally monitored their transmissions must have been perplexed by what they observed. How could such a young species with relatively primitive technology develop such sophisticated mental defenses? The answer lay in the very nature of human adaptive intelligence, our ability to turn every challenge into an opportunity for growth. The cognitive training that Darnell had developed was not only preparing the crew to survive, it was revealing potentials that had always existed within the human mind, just waiting for the right catalyst to emerge. The mindfulness techniques they practiced now were more advanced than anything the ancient masters could have imagined. The soft hum of the ventilation system was occasionally interrupted by bursts of simulated psychic energy, creating a training environment that tested not just mental endurance, but also the ability to maintain focus amid complete chaos. The human adaptation to these extreme conditions was remarkable. In a matter of weeks, what had once seemed impossible had become routine. The mental flow that the crew managed to maintain, even during the most severe tests, was a living testament to the extraordinary plasticity of the human brain. The defense strategies they were developing were not merely reactive. They were beginning to show offensive elements that surprised even Darnell. It was as if each new training session unlocked another layer of the hidden potential of the human mind. The pulsating lights and energy fields that filled the training room created an environment that seemed to have come straight out of a fever dream of some quantum physicist. But for the crew of the Star Hope, this was just another day of preparation for the inevitable confrontation that lay ahead. The applied psychology they were developing went far beyond simple mental resistance. It was a new form of conscious and directed evolution. The cognitive training had become more than just a preparation program. It was a pathway to transcend the limitations that the aliens presumed were inherent to the human mind. The neuroplasticity they demonstrated daily was redefining what was possible in the realm of mental combat. The data collected during the training sessions was as surprising as it was encouraging. The human capacity for psychological adaptation exceeded all initial projections, suggesting that there was still much more potential to be unlocked. The mindfulness techniques that had started as simple concentration exercises were now sophisticated tools of psychic warfare. The mental resilience of the crew had become legendary, even within the confines of the ship. Stories circulated about particularly intense training sessions where participants had not only withstood, but completely reversed simulated psychic attacks. The intergalactic challenge they faced was about to encounter a transformed humanity, a species that had learned to turn its greatest vulnerability into its most powerful weapon. The moment everyone feared and awaited finally arrived. The Star Hope trembled violently as the first wave of alien psychic attack hit its shields with full force. It was different from the simulations, more intense, more savage, more desperate. Captain Elias Darnell remained still in his command chair, his mind a fortress of unshakable concentration built through months of intensive cognitive training. The psychic interferences sweeping across the ship were powerful enough to make the stars themselves seem to tremble. but the crew maintained their focus with a mental resilience that surprised even their enemies. The alien technology might be superior in many respects, but there was something they could neither replicate nor comprehend: the extraordinary human capacity for psychological adaptation under extreme pressure. The aliens attacked in complex formations, each ship projecting a different type of destructive psychic energy. It was a deadly symphony of mental interferences designed to shatter any form of conscious resistance. But the mindfulness techniques that the crew had perfected proved to be more effective than any energy shield. The mental flow they managed to maintain even under intense attack was like a precise dance through a psychic minefield. The neuroplasticity of the human brain allowed them to instantly adapt to each new attack pattern, transforming every attempt at mental invasion into an opportunity for counterattack. Darnell watched with pride as his team not only resisted but began to turn the tide. The holographic screens on the command bridge displayed a surreal spectacle of psychic energy colliding with psychic energy. The supremacy of the human mind was manifesting in ways no one had predicted. Each crew member radiated an aura of mental resilience that the sensors could barely process. The cognitive training they had received was proving its worth beyond any doubt. The defense strategies that emerged naturally during the battle were more sophisticated than anything they had practiced. It was as if the very cosmic threat they faced had catalyzed an evolutionary leap in human consciousness. The aliens, with all their advanced technology, were unprepared for this level of psychological resistance. The air inside the ship seemed to vibrate with a strange frequency as the mental battles intensified. Each crew member had become a bastion of pure concentration, their minds working in perfect harmony to create an impenetrable psychic defense. The human adaptation to extreme situations had always been remarkable, but what was happening now transcended anything ever recorded in the history of the species. The intergalactic challenge they faced was revealing potentials that had always existed within the human mind, just waiting for the right moment to awaken. It was as if every psychic attack from the aliens only served to further strengthen the mental resilience of the crew. Darnell kept his team focused through a combination of silent leadership and active mental projection. The applied psychology they had studied was now being put into practice on a cosmic scale. The psychic interference from the aliens was like waves crashing against a rock, powerful, yet unable to shake the crew's unwavering concentration. Human adaptive intelligence was proving to be more valuable than any weapon or shield. Every attempt to break their mental defenses was met with an even stronger resistance, as if the very pressure of the combat was accelerating the evolution of their psychic abilities. The aliens appeared puzzled by the situation. Their tactics, which had destroyed entire civilizations, were completely ineffective against this small human ship. The most advanced alien technology was being surpassed by something much more basic and fundamental: the extraordinary human capacity to maintain focus under extreme pressure. The cognitive training they had received was not merely a series of exercises. It was a complete transformation of how the human mind functioned under stress. The mindfulness techniques they practiced were now as natural as breathing, allowing them to maintain mental clarity even in the fiercest heat of battle. The fields of psychic energy surrounding the Star Hope began to change color, a phenomenon that the senses had never recorded before. It was as if the crew's mental resistance was altering the fundamental nature of the alien psychic weapons. The neuroplasticity of the human brain was operating at a level that defied current scientific understanding. The defense strategies they had developed were not only effective, they were actively transforming the battlefield. The supremacy of the human mind was not just a matter of resilience, but of active adaptation and conscious evolution in the midst of conflict. The aliens attempted one last desperate tactic, concentrating all their psychic power into a single devastating attack. The impact was immense, causing the very structure of the ship to groan under the psychic pressure. But the crew of the Star Hope remained unshaken, their minds united in an impressive demonstration of collective mental resilience. The mental flow they managed to maintain even under such pressure was a testament to the extraordinary human capacity for psychological adaptation. It was as if each person aboard had become a beacon of pure concentration, their combined consciousness creating a barrier that no alien force could penetrate. The stars seemed to pulse in tune with the mental battle unfolding, as if the cosmos itself were witnessing something truly unique. Human adaptation had surpassed all expectations, transforming an apparent disadvantage into their greatest strength. The cognitive training they had received prepared them not just to survive, but to thrive under conditions that should have been impossible to endure. The mindfulness techniques they practiced with such diligence were now redefining the limits of what was possible in the realm of psychic warfare. It was a clear demonstration that humanity's true strength has always been its unique capacity for concentration and adaptation. The ship's sensors recorded impossible readings as the battle reached its climax. The applied psychology Darnell had developed was producing results that defied any conventional scientific explanation. The crew's mental resistance not only blocked the psychic attacks, it was actively repelling them back to their sources. It was as if the very nature of human consciousness was evolving in real time, driven by necessity and refined through absolute focus. The intergalactic challenge they faced had transformed into a catalyst for a fundamental transformation in the essence of what it meant to be human. The defense strategies that emerged during this historic battle would open new pathways for understanding the true potential of the human mind. The silence that followed the battle was deeper than the very vacuum of space. The alien ships, once so imposing with their superior technology, now floated inert, their psychic weapons completely neutralized by the extraordinary demonstration of human mental resilience. On the command bridge of the Star Hope, Captain Elias Darnell watched the screens with a mix of admiration and astonishment. Human adaptation had exceeded all expectations, transforming an ordinary crew into something that the most advanced civilizations in the universe would find difficult to comprehend. The cognitive training they had developed not only helped them survive, it had catalyzed a fundamental evolution in the very nature of human consciousness. The psychic interferences that once seemed so threatening were now like distant whispers, unable to penetrate the strong mental barriers each crew member had constructed. The aliens began their retreat in disorganized formation, their collective minds still reeling from the impact of the human psychic counterattack. It was a surreal sight. The very creatures that had arrived with such confidence in their technological supremacy were now fleeing from a single Earth ship. The applied psychology Darnell had refined over months of preparation had proven more powerful than any energy weapon or force field. The mindfulness techniques the crew had practiced tirelessly had evolved into something entirely new, a heightened state of consciousness that transcended the normal limitations of the human mind. The mental flow they maintained even after hours of intense battle was a testament to the species' extraordinary capacity for concentration. It was as if every challenge they faced had only served to further strengthen their collective determination. The ship's sensors recorded the final readings of the battle, data that would revolutionize the scientific understanding of the potential of the human mind. Neuroplasticity demonstrated during the conflict went far beyond any existing theory of brain adaptation. The defense strategies that emerged naturally during the battle were not merely reactive. They represented a completely new form of conscious and directed evolution. Human adaptive intelligence proved to be more valuable than any alien technology, no matter how advanced. It was as if the very intergalactic challenge they faced had served as the catalyst needed to awaken capabilities that had always been dormant within the human psyche. The crew of the Star Hope began to realize that their victory meant much more than simply repelling an alien invasion. The supremacy of the human mind they had demonstrated opened up possibilities that had previously belonged only to the realm of science fiction. The mental resilience they developed was not just a tool for defense. It was the first step on an evolutionary journey that could lead humanity to unimaginable heights. The cognitive training they had received had planted the seeds for a fundamental transformation in the very essence of what it meant to be human. The mindfulness techniques they practiced were no longer simple exercises. They were keys to unlocking the true potential of human consciousness. As the ship prepared to embark on its journey back to Earth, Darnell gathered his team for a final reflection on all they had achieved. The psychological adaptation they demonstrated during the battle had redefined the limits of the possible. The psychic interferences that once seemed insurmountable were now understood as mere obstacles on the path of human development. The mental flow that each crew member could maintain had become as natural as breathing, a living testament to the extraordinary capacity of humans for conscious evolution. It was as if every moment of intense focus during the conflict had forged new neural connections, expanding the boundaries of human potential. The stars seemed brighter now, as if the cosmos itself recognized the magnitude of what had been accomplished. The applied psychology they developed during their journey would not be forgotten. It would be the foundation of a new era of space exploration and human development. The defense strategies that emerged from the conflict would be studied and refined, preparing future generations to face any challenges the universe might present. The adaptive intelligence demonstrated by the crew of the Star Hope proved that humanity's true strength lay not in its weapons or technology, but in its unparalleled capacity for mental growth and adaptation. The ship's communication system picked up the first transmissions from other civilizations reacting to the news of the human victory. It was fascinating to observe how the demonstration of mental resilience had impacted galactic perceptions of Earth and its inhabitants. The cognitive training that seemed so basic by alien standards had proven more effective than millennia of technological development. Human brain neuroplasticity, this unique characteristic that allowed for constant adaptation and directed evolution, was being discussed across thousands of worlds as one of the greatest wonders of the known universe. It was the beginning of a new era of respect and recognition for humanity among the stars. As the Star Hope navigated through deep space toward home, each crew member could feel they were different people from those who had departed months earlier. The psychological adaptation they experienced had transformed not only their minds but their fundamental understanding of human potential. The mindfulness techniques they had perfected during the journey would be just the beginning, a foundation upon which future generations would build a new form of conscious existence. The intergalactic challenge they faced had proven to be exactly the catalyst humanity needed to take the next step in its collective evolution. Earth awaited on the distant horizon, a shining blue dot representing not just home, but the cradle of a species that had just proven its true worth to the cosmos. The supremacy of the human mind demonstrated during the battle would not be forgotten. It would be celebrated as the moment humanity finally understood its place among the stars. The mental resilience they developed was only the beginning of a new journey. The cognitive training that revolutionized their capabilities would be refined and expanded, paving the way for a new era of exploration and discovery. The psychic interferences that once threatened to destroy humanity had inadvertently helped awaken its true potential. The victory of the Star Hope did not merely mark the end of a battle, it signaled the birth of a new era for humanity. The psychological adaptation they demonstrated had proven that human potential was virtually limitless when properly cultivated and directed. The mindfulness techniques they developed would be the foundation of a new form of civilization, where expanded consciousness and directed evolution would be the norm, not the exception. The mental flow they had mastered during the conflict would be studied and perfected, leading to even greater advances in the fields of applied psychology and human development. It was the dawn of a new era, where humanity finally began to understand and manifest its true cosmic potential. And so humanity proved that the most powerful weapon in the universe is not technology or psychic power, but rather the incredible adaptability of the human mind. But this story is just the beginning. What would you do if you were aboard the Star Hope? Would you have the mental strength necessary to face an alien armada, relying solely on your focused mind as your weapon? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Speaking of human potential, the video appearing on your screen now reveals another incredible story about the unexpected advantages of humanity in space. Have you ever wondered how a group of Earth engineers managed to reverse engineer alien technology using only the most basic tools from Earth and pure intuition? Click now to discover how human creativity once again left the galaxy's most advanced civilizations speechless. And if you want to stay updated on more stories about humanity's incredible achievements in space, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications. Join our growing community of space enthusiasts and be the first to hear about humanity's most impressive victories against all odds. Remember, in a universe filled with advanced aliens and incredible technology, sometimes the most powerful force is one they can never replicate: the human spirit. See you in the next video.